So I've come to the realization that I'm not very rock and roll, and I'm okay with that. Hey guys, how we doing? It's Martin Cliffe. Welcome to another Music, Minimalism and Mental Health. And I think in this, I'm just going to go a little bit, kind of delve into my kind of relationship with music and mental health as I've gone through my life journey. You see, I don't know. Unlike, I guess, most kids who started playing guitar in the 90s, sort of came up through the 80s and 90s, I don't know whether I ever kind of set out to be a rock star. Obviously, it's something that never happened, but yeah, I've kind of tried to kind of reconcile with myself my kind of music journey as I've gone forward. And I've realised, a number of fascinating things about myself along the way, but certainly that, rockstar was never on the cards. It was kind of okay. I guess probably at some point in the kind of earliest inklings of my life, the kind of appeal of being the next Richie Sambora was there. But after a while, I think I started to realise that wasn't really where my destiny lay. Although certainly there were times when my ego flared up when working in bands with other people, and I kind of wanted myself to, I kind of wanted to be that front man, that lead singer, and that caused a few issues, if I'm honest. There were times when, it caused me to leave bands that really I would have been better off staying with for various reasons. Or just, put things in the way and make people feel that I wasn't completely committed to that project, whatever that was. And I think that in itself, and the fact that I've kind of kept trying to be the guy while realizing that I'm never really going to be the guy because it's not me, it's not kind of in my nature, has been one of the kind of conflicts that's gone throughout my life and my music journey and everything else. Obviously, I think, by the time I was in my mid-20s and I was losing my hair and I was gaining weight and stuff, I had a nice kind of definite realization that whatever rock star dream I had was never going to happen. But also, I think I was, by that point, becoming more aware of the kind of trappings that went with rock and roll, the kind of rock and roll excesses. And I never wanted any of that. I never wanted the heavy drinking and the partying and the drugs and sex and whatever else. That wasn't... and also the crazy travel and depression that goes with that and the boredom. None of that appealed. And I think that it was that point that I started pushing myself more into music for music's sake rather than ever really for music for fame's sake. I actually took a bit of a break from music in kind of my early 20s. I was still playing a little bit, but certainly not pursuing anything. After I left Summer Wings and after Galileo, the Queen tribute band that I was in, kind of crumbled, I was then in a new place. I was living in Manchester on my own. And I didn't really know how I was going to make any connections. This was before the Timber Merchants came together, which was kind of what pulled me back into music. So I was convinced at that point that I was going to be a photographer and filmmaker and probably never play music again other than for my own pleasure. And those were that was probably the start of some pretty dark times in some ways. Because what music has meant to me over the years, over my career, has been huge. Even though I've never been a professional musician per se, I have earned music in other ways, earned money in other ways through music, through teaching and arranging and other things, and that has been, the happiest times of my life have been when I have been being a musician, or at least kind of doing something that is attached to music. So yeah, it's a strange one, and it's interesting because I think, obviously I put Voyager Project together and we had various incarnations over years, and then we recorded the 2 albums, and then things started to filter with that. But the thing I think that in the end not took away or satisfied the ego, but kind of just dissolved it and filtered it down and stuff, was when we got to Hong Kong and I was called. I really felt the call, and indeed I was asked repeatedly before I succumbed to that, I guess, to be a church worship leader. I'd been playing guitar in church for years, guitar and bass and what have you, but to actually be the person leading, and there is no ego in that, but it's good for me because it ticks the box of being, leading, singing and stuff, without that ego, without people's attention being on me. And I think as someone who grew up socially awkward, if I'm honest, not really seeing the world, or certainly seeing people perhaps in the same way as a lot of people around me, I don't want the focus to be on me. You might say, well, you're making a YouTube channel, but my YouTube channel is always to provide some kind of insight into a different way of thinking, or to benefit other people in some kind of way. When I was doing my pedal playthrough videos, I was not reviewing gear for the sake of reviewing gear. I was not reviewing gear for me. I was just playing through this stuff to help other people kind of get a feel of what it sounds like, what it feels like in quite a detailed way. And maybe there have been steps that I could have taken in YouTube and in music and in life generally that would have brought me more glory, but I don't know that that's really something that has ever interested me. So why do I keep doing it, I guess? And it really comes down to the music and the music's contribution to my mental state. I feel maybe not at my best, but certainly pretty close to it when I'm playing music, particularly when I'm playing music with other people. But I love playing music, and music is something that can really lift my spirit. I mean, listening to music can lift my spirit if it's good music, but playing music can really, particularly playing with other people in some kind of way. So I think love, end goal kind of thing, to be a sideman of someone who is kind of really pushing music forward. I don't want to be at the front. Certainly nowadays, this stage in my career, that doesn't interest me. But I would love to step into a band, most likely on bass, realistically, or a singer, songwriter, guitarist, or whatever it is, and contribute to their music in a positive way. I see, obviously, I see the guitarists kind of my era and the people who are playing. I mean, the obvious people are John Mayer, who has Pino playing with him, and Joe Bonamassa, who has Michael Rhodes playing with him. And I'm envious of those guys. I see that I would love to be in that context. Maybe, playing bass for Lincoln Brewster, or one of the kind of key people in the Christian music scene. I don't know. I'm not going to get there while I'm in Bucharest by any means, but my rock and roll dream died a long time ago, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And I'm perfectly okay with not being very rock and roll. I don't have a wall of amps behind me when I'm filming my videos because I've got no interest in having that. And I don't know, how does this kind of fit in with minimalism? Well, I guess just in the sense of enough. This isn't supposed to be a video about minimalism, but coming to terms with that and the appeal of discovering that lifestyle helps me to come to terms with who and what I am. And so having enough and being enough, and I obviously would love to get more subscribers, so click the subscribe button. I would love to get more likes on my videos, but at the end of the day, do I want to be seen as someone who is, a content creator and someone who is, putting crazy stuff out there just for the sake of putting crazy stuff out there to get views? Absolutely not. I want to be seen as just genuine and doing what I do, and hopefully you guys like it. So I hope that's given a little bit of an insight. I'm not rock and roll at all. I have the occasional drink, but I'm not a heavy drinker. I don't party. I don't do any of those things that rock and roll people do. I've got a really nice life, and I'm really happy, and I'm really blessed. As I've spoken about numerous times on this channel, do struggle with my mental health, which maybe has contributed to the fact that I'm happy with not being rock and roll. Who knows? Thanks for listening. Feel free to contribute below with any kind of thoughts you have on maybe your life didn't turn out the way that you wanted to when you were a teenager. How many of us realistically does that happen to? Take care. See you soon.